Take your Chinese shoes and get out of here.
Where is Akutagawa?
Oh, come on!
The tale unfolds with Chen Zhen, a dedicated Chinese martial artist, enrolled in an all-Japanese school. One day, as he sits in class, chaos erupts when members of the notorious Black Dragon clan burst through the door. With little regard for authority, they ruthlessly harass the lecturer, shattering his glasses and intimidating the students who dare to defend him. Mitsuko, Chen Zhen's girlfriend, steps forward in an attempt to defuse the situation, but before tensions escalate further, Chen Zhen takes a stand. The intruders issue a menacing ultimatum: he has 3 seconds to leave or face violent repercussions. This sparks a fierce confrontation. Just then, Fumio Funakoshi, their master and Mitsuko's uncle, arrives on the scene. He quickly apologizes to the lecturer and demands to know who is responsible for the assault on his students. Without hesitation, Chen Zhen admits his involvement, earning Funakoshi's respect. Inquiring about Chen's master, he learns that it is Mr. Huo Yuanjia. Upon hearing this name, Funakoshi somberly informs Chen Zhen of the recent passing of a Chinese master bearing the same name, whose death was reported in the newspapers after a match against a Japanese master named Akutagawa. Devastated by this revelation, Chen Zhen excuses himself and rushes to Shanghai to pay his respects. Upon arriving at Jingwu School, the rickshaw driver informs him that students are dispersing in the wake of his master's death and that Japanese forces are attempting to seize the property. Inside the school, Chen Zhen witnesses a duel challenge taking place.
If you want to fight, let's go outside.
Afterward, he approaches the altar to honor his late master. Gripping a symbol of acceptance tightly in his hand, he bows deeply in reverence but is soon overwhelmed with rage and shatters the symbol in a fit of fury. Qian, the newly appointed head of the school, stands in agreement with Chen Zhen, acknowledging that their enemies not only defeated their master but also undermined their leadership, rendering any notion of acceptance meaningless. Fueled by vengeance, Chen Zhen vows to confront Akutagawa. The following morning, he arrives at Akutagawa's dojo and boldly issues a challenge. Akutagawa's students warn him to leave or face severe consequences, which leads to an inevitable fight. After a tense standoff, Akutagawa finally appears and commands his students to step aside, preparing for a hand-to-hand confrontation. After the fight, Chen Zhen ties his shoes with an air of politeness and leaves, convinced that this was not the cause of his master's demise. Later that evening, Chen Zhen accompanies a doctor to his master's gravesite, harboring suspicions of foul play. He theorizes that his master may have been poisoned before the match since Akutagawa alone lacked the skill to defeat him. The doctor retrieves a piece of liver for testing, hoping to uncover traces of poison. After conducting his experiments, he confirms Chen's fears: his master was indeed poisoned. The next morning, as Chen Zhen warms up before training, he captures the attention of all the students. His rumored triumph over Akutagawa has turned him into a local sensation. Moreover, he introduces innovative moves and techniques that ignite jealousy in Tian, who feels overshadowed by Chen's burgeoning teaching prowess. Demonstrating a powerful kick on one of the students sends him flying. Meanwhile, Akutagawa confronts General Fujita about the poisoning of Chen Zhen's master, denouncing it as dishonorable. Fujita reveals that Akutagawa was incapable of defeating the master on his own, thus, they resorted to poisoning him since he was the leader of the Chinese resistance. Enraged by this false victory and claiming his samurai honor is at stake, Akutagawa attempts to attack Fujita, forcing him to take drastic measures against Akutagawa. The following day, Akutagawa's students return to their dojo only to find his lifeless body alongside a sign implicating Chen Zhen as his murderer. Fueled by anger and betrayal, they prepare to retaliate against Jingwu School. It becomes clear that Fujita's true intention was to frame Chen Zhen for the murder of Akutagawa from the very beginning. Upon arriving at the school, Akutagawa's students demand that Tian hand over Chen Zhen, accusing him of killing their master. Tian stands his ground, fiercely defending Chen Zhen and asserting their shared knowledge of his innocence, refusing to surrender him. In an instant, tensions boil over into a violent confrontation. As the chaos unfolds, the police arrive just in time to break up the fight. The students insist they will not leave without Chen Zhen, who arrives shortly after, breathless from a quick run, only to be arrested and taken to trial. In court, 4 witnesses, whose testimonies are clearly fabricated, claim to have seen Chen Zhen at the scene of the crime. The judge dismisses the accounts of Chinese witnesses, citing potential bias in favor of Chen Zhen. Instead, a Japanese witness is called to testify. To Chen Zhen's astonishment, Mitsuko takes the stand and lies, stating that Chen Zhen was with her at a motel on the night of the murder, thus providing him with an alibi. Faced with a lack of credible evidence and bolstered by Mitsuko's testimony as a Japanese citizen, the judge ultimately dismisses the case. Back at Jingwu School, tensions simmer as members debate whether Mitsuko should be allowed to remain among them, given her Japanese nationality, which some view as a betrayal of the Chinese cause. Tian interjects that if Chen Zhen can defeat him in a duel, he will relinquish his position as headmaster.
If you want to be in charge, then fight me for it. If you win, Jingwu is yours.
However, Chen Zhen informs Tian that he has no interest in leadership and prepares to leave. He offers a final bow to his late master before departing the school. The following day, Akutagawa's former students, now under new leadership, issue a challenge to Jingwu School for a duel. After their departure, Tian's girlfriend arrives and leads Uncle Nong to where Tian has been hiding since his defeat. Despite his shame and absence following the confrontation, Tian resolves to face the duel as Jingwu's master. Meanwhile, within Jingwu School, a cook and another student hide away in a room. The cook demands to know where the money is, but the student insists they wait, arguing that the Japanese always pay. It is then revealed that the cook was responsible for poisoning of Master Huo Yuanjia. In a shocking turn of events, the student executes the cook to eliminate any evidence. Elsewhere, Chen Zhen and Mitsuko have taken refuge in an abandoned house after being cast out from Jingwu School. Funakoshi arrives and challenges Chen Zhen to a match, eager to test his skills and uncover what he knows about fighting. In response, Chen Zhen picks up a rock and shatters it with his fists. Impressed by this display of strength, Funakoshi questions whether Chen Zhen has also learned to control his anger while demonstrating his own fighting style. Chen Zhen clarifies that their meeting is not for discussion but for combat.
What style is that?
Don't worry, I'll show it to you. We'll make it even.
Although he concedes victory to Funakoshi, the latter is nonetheless impressed by Chen Zhen's abilities. Funakoshi advises that true mastery in fighting comes from the ability to adapt, and then departs, leaving Chen Zhen deep in contemplation about his journey ahead. The next day, Tian paid a visit to Chen Zhen's home to share some significant news. He had accepted an invitation from the Japanese for a fight. Upon returning to their residence, Chen Zhen discovered a letter from Mitsuko, revealing her decision to return to Japan. She expressed her desire to give him the space he needed to resolve matters with his own people. Together, Chen Zhen and Tian confronted General Fujita. Inside the general's lair, Fujita disclosed a shocking truth. The cook and one of the students had been bribed to participate in the assassination of their master. In a cold and calculated move, the general swiftly eliminated the student also to tie up any loose ends. He then issued a challenge: if Chen Zhen and Tian could defeat him, they would retain ownership of the school. Without hesitation, Tian charged into battle but was quickly overpowered by the general's ferocious kicks. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Chen Zhen stepped in to face Fujita himself.
Dad.
Can you walk?
In a fierce clash, Chen Zhen ultimately vanquished the general, putting an end to his reign of terror. However, just as they thought they could escape, they were ambushed by Fujita's men. The story culminates with Chen Zhen facing execution for the murder of General Fujita. Yet, beneath the surface of this tragic outcome lies a deeper truth. The Chinese had cleverly outmaneuvered the Japanese, facilitating Chen Zhen's transport to Japan so he could embrace a new life alongside Mitsuko. Thank you for watching, and if you are new here, don't forget to like and subscribe for more recaps. Until next time, have a wonderful day.